Welcome back, boys. We are now officially fully into the swing of things. We got the week one recap coming at you. A lot of big NFL action this weekend. Big Spartan win on Saturday as well. Big Oklahoma win on Saturday as well. Nick, welcome back to the show. Glad to have you join us. I hope you're as excited to get back in the football action as I am.
Spartan Dogs win on Saturday. A full slate of Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday of football. Primetime games were incredible. That Sunday night game with Josh Allen and Lamar was amazing. And obviously, I'm on the top of the world right now with the Packers looking really good against the Lions this weekend. So great weekend, and excited to walk through the fantasy implications here.
All right, without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into the action. First game we got up here, we got the Can Pams taking home the Kiffin Award against the Philly Chicos with a 137 to 111 victory. 137 being the Kiffin Award this week. Definitely a down scoring week one. Looked like a lot of teams in the NFL are still treating this like it was preseason, getting their footing under them a little bit. But some big performances out of the Can Pams here, especially at the top. We have Lamar Jackson putting up a monster 35 points, three total touchdowns, including one on the ground. Derrick Henry right behind him, also putting up 32 points. That was just an amazing comeback effort by the Bills. Left the Ravens a little bit short, but the highest scoring game did result in a lot of fantasy points. So this team will definitely take it. Also, solid performances out of Kyren Williams and Malik Neighbors here. A little bit of weak scoring behind them, but some nice special team performances to round it out. Brandon Aubrey with 11 points. Looks like he had four total makes. And then Patriots defense with a nice day, rounding out with 18.61. That would be enough to get the job done for the Can Pams. Off to a hot 1-0 start. See if they're able to keep it going.
Yeah, for Philly, just fell a little bit short this week. Their big signing in the offseason, Jalen Hurts, did perform, though, on Thursday night with the two rushing touchdowns, scoring 31 points as he had a big day, especially on the ground, as the Eagles were able to stifle out the Cowboys. Jonathan Taylor performed pretty well, 18 carries for 71 yards as the Colts boat raced the Miami Dolphins, which, of course, we all saw coming. No. A weird one here, though, with Nico Collins. As we'll see, this will be a theme throughout the week. A lot of these top tier receivers and a lot of guys that people were drafting at the top of fantasy drafts this year just had weird week ones, as Travis mentioned. It felt like preseason week four. Not worried about Nico, but this is going to be a trend we see. But Garrett Wilson, man, he looked really good with Justin Fields out there, 22 points. That offense was humming against the Steelers, so we'll see if that's going to be able to keep up. And then for Blake here, the Lions weren't able to pull him over to the edge here. He had Laporta, who played pretty well. I thought he was one of the better players for the Lions on Sunday. Jake Bates didn't have a lot of opportunities to score points for kicking, and then the defense was kind of put in a couple bad situations. And Jordan Love was playing pretty good for the Packers. So not a bad week here for Blake. Definitely a lot of things to build on. Some guys that'll bounce back next week, but definitely some areas of improvement that he'll be looking into on week two here.
All right. That brings us to our second matchup of the week. FaZe Kev getting off to a nice 1-0 start with a 124 to 106 victory over yours truly at the Texas Size 10 Force.
Yeah, so the big news here was these were two of the teams that had a big trade during the offseason. Saquon Barkley for Puka Nacua. Man, Puka Nacua, I'm just saying, man, he looked like a dog out there, man. He was getting cut, he was getting hit, he was going in the injury tent, he was coming back out. He had a hell of a performance, 10 catches for 130 yards, putting up 23 points, which does look to be the highest score on Kevin's team outside of Jaden Daniels, his quarterback. So he was really happy to see that, his new addition paying off for him, and he looked really good out there. Outside of that, again, Jaden Daniels performed pretty well as the Commanders were able to just kind of go on cruise control against the New York Giants. And then he was able to squeak out enough points from the rest of his team here. Nothing completely jaw dropping until we get down to the special teams. I think the special teams is what saved him this week. Cam Little coming through with about 17 points here. And then the Vikings defense, after a couple drives of Ben Johnson's scripted plays, Caleb Williams were able to figure out that Bears offense and really put forth a great effort there on Monday Night Football. So I think those two pieces really saved Kev this week. And then he got those two stellar performances from his two top dogs. So good week one win here for Kev. And again, see if he can build off this momentum in the coming weeks.
Yeah, on the flip side here, Texas size 10-4 is we felt really good about our offseason. We came to this week feeling like we were ready to go. It was definitely a bit of a letdown performance. Goff only throwing up 16 out of the quarterback spot. Kind of got chewed apart by the Packers defense all day. We don't expect that to be the standard from him. We expect better performances going better. A little bit same out of Saquon, 18 points, not too disappointing. He was able to find the end zone. We're definitely not placing the blame on him. James Cook with a good late effort in the big comeback victory against the Ravens. Our receivers is where we were really let down. Tyreek and Olave not having a great day. Kelsey did look return to form, did not look washed at all. He was also able to find the end zone. Kenneth Walker is probably the one spot we would like to call out this week. Only 20 yards on 10 carries. That's just not going to get the job done. Only putting up 4 points, I believe he was the lowest scorer in our entire lineup. When you have a dog like that, who we all know is capable of scoring 5 touchdowns in a single game, you want him to go off pretty much every week. This week was not his week, but we do expect big things from him moving forward. We do expect this team to be fine. This was just a little bit of a down week, but we'll see. All right, moving on to our third game of the week. In a narrow victory, we had Francie Feast getting the Swiper Award with a 115-110 dub over Wallace Pluto 84, the defending champs. It's definitely hot start for Francie Feast. Definitely looking playoffs after this one. Don't want to get too ahead of yourselves too early, but they're definitely feeling well about themselves. Drake May able to put up 20 points in this one. Drake May not normally known as a major fantasy player, so I'm sure they were happy to get 20 out of him. The big star of the show, Bijan Robinson, they matched his contract on the RFA market this season, and it proved to work out, at least in week one so far. 24 points out of him, able to find the end zone. Nothing great from the rest of the lineup. That's how you kind of end up in the swiper position award. Although not Seattle. The Niners defense put up a great game against Seattle, putting up 22 points to their own. And that would be enough to do it. Like I said, they squeak out a 5-point win, but against the defending champs, you will take it. And Francis Feast heads into week 2 at 1-0.
Yeah, for Wallace Pluto here, just coming up slightly short here. I know that they're hoping a little bit more out of Justin Jefferson on Monday Night Football, but what we'll be talking about here again, like very thematic in terms of this week one, is a lot of these top players having down weeks. We see again Joe Burrow only 113 yards and 1 touchdown. We know what Joe Burrow's capable of week in and week out. And then his running mate Ja'Marr Chase kind of getting some of that downside that happened this week. Again, he only had 2 catches for 26 yards. Again, we know that both Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase singularly can put up 50 points. So again, we don't expect this moving forward. Just kind of a weird week against Cleveland. Jahmyr Gibbs got held in check against the Packers, 9 carries for 19 yards. What really saved his day was the 10 receptions, but again, only going for 31 yards. Again, we know what Jahmyr Gibbs is capable of, so we don't expect that week in and week out. Justin Jefferson on Monday Night Football was able to get into the end zone for a touchdown, but again, only 4 catches for 44 yards. We expect that to increase in the coming weeks. Brock Bowers was kind of the star of the show here. 5 catches for 103 yards. He picked up right where he left off in his rookie season. And for Noah, of course, the special teams was intact, performing really well. Tyler Loop, the rookie that he drafted, 13 points, and his defense, the Washington Commanders that he won in silent auction, scoring 20 points for him, as those were the main highlights for him. Again, with Wallace Pluto, one of those weird weeks. I expect him to bounce back, and some of these guys that are typical top scorers to return to form in the coming weeks.
All right, moving on to our 4th game of the week. We had PC Principal falling at the hands of Cleveland Steamers. It does not get much narrower than this one, folks. Cleveland Steamers win 124.57 to 124.31. That is a 0.26 point margin of victory, if my math serves me correctly. Nick, walk me through how you were able to escape in this nail biter.
The actual league stats, but I have a feeling that this is going to be in the top 10 for closest games in league history, if not pushing for number one. I'll take a look at that later, but this was an absolute nail biter. This really all started on Friday for us. Again, we got the news that Christian McCaffrey was having some sort of calf issue on Thursday that popped up. We really didn't know what that meant. He was a DNP on Friday. So originally we weren't planning on playing Xavier Worthy this week. We were going to go with the running back approach. But because there was some uncertainty there, we knew that Xavier was next up. We felt really good about him. Plan was that he was going to get a lot of looks, and he lasted 3 plays and went out with a shoulder injury. That was definitely a big blow. Luckily, though, Patrick was able to put the team on his back as he had a hell of a performance as he tried to will the Chiefs to victory there, scoring 31 points for us, and Ladd McConkey doing Ladd McConkey things, getting 6 receptions for about 70 yards. So we were going into the weekend shorthanded, basically. So the one thing that we had to do to make sure that the boys were ready to play and everybody and morale was high, we had to go out and sign Odell Beckham Jr. to the team this week. This isn't going to be an every week thing. Like we said, Odell is taking a front office position this year, but we had to sign him this week to try to get the vibes high. Going into the game, knowing that we were going to be a little bit shorthanded, and man, we had a couple really stellar performances. Like I said, Christian McCaffrey came out and he was firing on all cylinders. 23.7 points, no touchdown. He was doing everything for the 49ers. Bucky was able to squeak into the end zone. Brian Thomas had a rushing touchdown because Lord knows Trevor Lawrence couldn't hit the backside of a barn to save his life on Sunday, but that's okay. And we were just able to just do enough this week to squeak by. Again, it's a gritty performance. We definitely did not play our best, have a lot of room for improvement. But we're able to squeak out a victory without playing our best. That's a sign of good things to come. So we were happy to just get out of this one.
Of course, whenever you have a nail biter that's as tight as this, there's always going to be a team on the opposite side that winds up heartbroken in the end. However, for PC Principal, it is still early in the season, only week one. They should have some positives to take out of this that they look to build on as they move forward throughout the season. First off, their field general, Baker Mayfield, put up a very nice performance, 25 points, finding the end zone through the air 3 times. Jackson Smith-Njigba, fresh off of his RFA extension, able to find 20 himself. And then Breece Hall off the franchise tag also was able to notch 20. Bengals defense, old reliable for this team, got them 16. Few too many single digits in between would find them falling just short. Definitely some bright spots for this team moving forward. Hopefully, the next time they find themselves in this situation, they're able to come out on top, but still some good fight showing out of this club in week one. And that will take us to our fifth and final game of the week. We had Gliz Mafia getting 136.99 to 113.79 victory over Sticky Mistakes.
Yeah, this is the battle of the Milford House here today, and I know that Tyler was really happy to have those bragging rights over Adam for at least the next several weeks until these two teams play again. For Gliz Mafia here, this may have been the most consistent performance across the board this week. As we do take a look down their lineup, Ashton Genty in his first ever game was able to find the end zone, squeak out a double-digit performance. Devon Achane, again, the only person that was able to score for the Dolphins and get himself in double digits. CD, 19 points, even with a couple of those huge drops on Thursday, was still able to damn near get 20 points himself. That has to be a very good sign moving forward. Cortland Sutton, 17. George Kittle was able to get into double digits before he left the game with a hamstring injury. We're praying for George Kittle, as we saw that he landed on IR today. Josh Jacobs was able to find the end zone as well. And the Broncos defense here, getting a rookie quarterback week one had to be great news for Gliz Mafia, as that's typically a recipe for success. So they were able to find the end zone across the board here. And have really solid performances. I know the one area that they would want improved is from the quarterback play. Trevor Lawrence played decent, but definitely left some throws out there. And then Dak Prescott as well. Their backup quarterback, 11 points. So they could definitely get a little bit more out of their quarterbacks. I thought Dak played really good on Thursday Night Football. Just a couple bounces didn't go his way, but a lot of good things here for Gliz Mafias. Again, I think they showed the most consistent performance out of any team in week one.
Yeah, on the flip side, for sticky mistakes here is pretty much the complete opposite of consistency.
Complete opposite.
Really just a one-man show here, and Josh Allen putting up week high 47 points pretty much, finding the end zone 4 times, twice through the air, twice on the ground. Other than that, I mean, they paid a lot of money for him this offseason, so they're definitely happy to see a big performance out of him. They're hoping that's going to continue throughout the year. But you got to have some level of depth to your team, and this week they just did not bring it. Jerry Jeudy was able to notch 11 of his own, and they got double digits out of their kicker and special teams. But generally, if you're relying on 10 from your kicker and special teams to win, you're going to find yourself in the loss column. Some notable single-digit performances here. They will be looking to improve on that in the weeks going forward. But this is just a rough one for this squad. Other than Josh Allen, you're going to have to run pretty much the rest of the team at practice this week. Hopefully that makes things better, but we'll see if this team's able to correct things moving forward and find themselves in the win column. All right, and that is it for our week one recap. We will now take a look ahead at the week two schedule. First up, yours truly, Texas A&M Force, going to take on Francis Feast. He's coming off a massive victory over the defending champs from Wallace Pluto. We're going to look to stop them momentum right away and get our first victory of our own on the season. Second game, we got Gliz Mafia sitting at 1-0, taking on defending champs from Wallace Pluto. Gliz Mafia looking to push out to a 2-0 start. Wallace Pluto looking to get back on the playoff track, getting back to 1-1. Third matchup, we got FaZe Kev versus Cleveland Steamers. Both teams coming off a week one win. Nick, tell us the keys to your guys' success in this upcoming game against FaZe Kev.
We know over at FaZe Kev, they're a hell of a ball club. We know we got a few things to clean up this week from week one. Definitely want to get on the touchdown board a little bit more and get our receivers involved. That's going to be key for us. Get the receivers involved this week.
All right. Fourth matchup, Can Pams. Off to a 1-0 start, looking to keep it going against Sticky Mistakes. And then fifth matchup, two teams who had some heartbreaking losses week one, Philly Chicos and PC Principal. Good news is at least one of them will find the win column. So we'll see which one of them it is. Thank you, boys, for tuning in this week. Hope you all enjoyed our first recap of all the exciting fantasy action as we get back into the swing of things here. Nick, any final thoughts for the boys before we head off for the week?
It was a great week one. I'm excited to have football back here. We've only got a couple days off here before we get a company plug. At first, Amazon Prime game of the year. Green Bay Packers versus the Washington Commanders should be electric. Two teams probably battling out for the NFC this year. Really excited to get rolling on Thursday and then having another full Sunday slate this upcoming week. Really excited to have football back and to be doing these again with you boys. So appreciate it.
Very excited as well. Couldn't have put it any better myself. Thanks again for tuning in, boys. Hope you all have an exciting week of football ahead of you. Peace out.